During that time, I just remember all the people and all the, I'll say, dignitaries, Dr. King being there, and other, some of the people with SNCC that were there, James Orange and other people, young folk who were there that was in charge. Yeah, I remember those. Can't remember all their names, but I do remember them. My name is Alice Lewis Hutchison. I was a member of Brown Chapel AME Church in Selma, Alabama during the Civil Rights Movement. I'm the wife of the Reverend P.H. Lewis Sr. Reverend Lewis opened his doors of Brown Chapel AME Church when other churches were afraid to open their doors. And he opened the doors along with the officers agreeing that he could open the doors to the Civil Rights Movement of Brown Chapel AME Church in Selma. Well, the open door policy started as soon as the movement started. After the first attempt to go across the Edmund Pettus Bridge and the people started coming, answering the call, that's when it was an open door policy for people to come and stay in the church and stay in the parsonage because so many people there, they had to have somewhere to sleep. So they slept in the church, on the pews, under the pews, and in the parsonage. And like we had a big house at that time because it was one of the older two-story homes that had large rooms and large beds, and people slept in the living room, in the dining room, upstairs, in the other bedroom, not in our bedroom or the boys' bedroom, but they slept just everywhere. Every day there was a march, and some days there were permits and nobody was arrested, and with those days without a permit, people were prepared to go to jail. And the people marched every day where it rained, where the sun was shining, where it was cold. I didn't really think about any repercussions at that time. Maybe many, many years later, but I didn't ever think about any repercussions at that time because we just lived every day as comfortable as we could. Lots of times we would receive bomb threats that came to the house. There were bomb threats at the church, and the people would file out because every night there were mass meetings, and they would call and say they're gonna bomb the church. The people would file out, and the law enforcement people would come and would say everything's all clear. They go right back in there and finish their meetings. And they will call the house and say that they're going to bomb the house, but really that didn't frighten me at all. As a mother of two young children, I just wanted to be sure to keep an eye on them to make sure that they were safe and that they felt safe and they weren't afraid of all the commotions that was going on and all the people being around in and out of the house. So I wanted to make sure that they felt good at all times and felt safe and not confused or scared themselves. Early on, when he was out of town running a revival, the Ku Klux Klan burned a cross in front of the church, between the church and the parsonage. And during that time, my husband was out of town running a revival. And our boys were real young. Like I said, they were 2 and 3. And I was sitting on the swing on the porch, and the boys were playing on the porch. And it was so strange that all the children in the community, they were not playing like they usually play out in the yard, and no cars were parked along the curb. And I looked around and I saw these cars driving very slow and close to the curb. And I don't know why I thought, I said, oh, I bet they're going to stake a cross. And the car stopped. Several of the men jumped out, popped the trunk, staked the cross, and set it afire, and quickly drove off. And it was so strange that the fire department came right away and extinguished the cross. So I don't know if that was planned, but it was just so strange that they responded so quickly. My reflection looking back, I probably would be afraid looking at all the things that was going on, all the bomb threats, all the people in the house. But looking back, yeah, I would probably be anxious and maybe afraid sometimes, and also really concerned about my husband getting people to register to vote. That was the goal of the Civil Rights Movement, is to give people the right to vote, especially in what they call the Black Belt, which is like Wilcox County, Dallas County, those people where blacks outnumbered the whites. So the thing was to keep them from voting. Lowndes County, all those areas where blacks outnumbered the whites, they had no rights to vote. I would advise young people to stay abreast of what's going on, talk to some of the seniors about what happened when they were young, and look at some of the freedoms that we have today, that we didn't have those freedoms back then, so that they can appreciate where we are today. And there's still a lot that needs to take place in trying to gain equality here as American citizens.